Smite data mining has uncovered some rather interesting things in the OB41 patch, which is the latest patch for Paladins, including several new champions that have varying levels of data in the patch so far. I want to make a disclaimer that everything in these data minings isn't actually released in the games, it's just basically like in the files already. It's part of what Hi-Rez are working on, and everything that they pick up and they get out isn't the finished product and may not even come to the game at all. However, with the previous champions, Charlene and Tyra, the data mining has pretty much been spot on, getting everything right, their weapon, their abilities and everything else about them. But what they're putting in at the moment is pretty big and quite crazy, and I think people are going to be really interested to hear about it. So let's just go over Torvald quickly. Torvald is the new champion, and I have talked about him in another video which I'll link here because the OB40 had some data about him too. He's probably going to come next patch, but now I don't know whether it was in the last video, but we know the abilities now. Hyper Beam is the first ability, so probably the Q. The second ability is Protection, so that's probably putting shields on people. Recharge is stealing the shields, and we saw those little rune symbols in OB41 in the public test server, which was bugged, and that might have something to do with how you steal shield from people. And then finally, Runic Blast is, I think, their ultimate, so it could be that this champion has an offensive ultimate like Ruckus, who has a damage ultimate as a tank. But Torvald actually isn't the most interesting thing in this list. So one of the big things I think is really interesting is a melee sort of hybrid character. So it's actually called Blades. It's not actually got a full name of a champion yet, but this is one of the 3 champions that Hi-Rez said they were working on, or at least we think it is because it's in the data mining, in the data for the patch at the moment. We know what weapons they'll have. They have a knife short and long range, which means they might have something a bit like Genji's throwing knives, like shurikens even, maybe something similar to that. And it says sort of 2 knives as weapons, so maybe there's like a throwing knife and a like long sword or something to fight close up. The first ability is 9 lives listed, and basically it heals 800 health and resets your ability cooldowns, and this also cleanses crowd control effects and makes you immune to them for 1 second. So this could actually be an odd ability where if you get hit by a Bomb King stun or any sort of crowd control effect, if you're a chicken, you can just jump out of it and heal yourself as well. And also you won't be able to be crowd controlled either. I think this champion is going to be sort of like a very mobile, a very agile character, and this goes on to the Prowl ability, and this basically dashes forwards, and if you hit an enemy it performs a melee strike. Again, sounds a bit like Genji's sort of slash, but either way that's just how melee attacks work. But I'm guessing he'll dash you forwards and then you'll have like a slash and a blade or something, but that's part of the movement of this champion. But there's a second movement ability for this champion as well, and that is Pounce. There isn't anything in this ability apart from pouncers. That's literally the description of the ability. Pounce, pouncers. But I'm guessing that's going to be your main movement ability, giving you vertical movement and just generally letting you get into the action and attack enemies close up, because I'm guessing they're going to be a very close-up character. Finally, there's an ability called Midnight Ultimate, and it says enemies within 300 feet are placed into a blind sphere. I wonder whether it's going to be a bit like Sky's ultimate, Sky's Q, Smoke Bomb, where when you're inside it you can't see anything. It'd be interesting if when you're inside this sphere, everything's black apart from your UI and your own gun. That could be quite interesting, as and then the only person that can see is the Blade character. That would be pretty cool. But Hi-Rez have said they wanted to make a sort of melee and ranged sort of hybrid character, and this could be where we're seeing it. It sounds very much like a sort of stereotypical assassin character, and maybe they'll be like sort of like a cloaked... Maybe there'll be some sort of like cloaked assassin, and generally I think this is good. I like the idea of this character, and it'll be really interesting to see them implemented in the game. And the ultimate is unique, and so is the 9 lives ability, where it cleanses crowd control effects. There's nothing else like it in the game. The second champion, there might actually be 3, because there's one for Barrier Mage and then Barrier Tank, so whether they're 2 characters or not, who knows. But on Barrier Tank, there's something called Earthen Guard. there's nothing there, it just doesn't say anything. But the first ability is Energy Charge, and basically you enter the defensive state and lasts for 8 seconds, where every deployable you have active, 30% of the damage you take is redirected to the deployable. So it's almost like a mitigation of damage, like Haven, but then also it damages your deployables. So what are his deployables? Well, it's in Warder's Field, you place a stone obelisk that every 0.5 seconds pulses, which slows enemy for 35 seconds and damages them for 150. So this is another deployable character. It's it sounds a bit like an in-between a Grok's Totem and Barrack's Turret, but the slow is quite interesting. The next ability is Impasse, and you can deploy a small wall that grows out of the ground and lasts for 8 seconds. It says if you activate the ability again, it grows the wall to full height. I'm guessing that if you instantly grow it to full height, it doesn't last as long. I'm guessing that would be how they work it out. Actually, in the previous versions of Paladins, Buck used to have a wall, and I'm wondering whether they're going to reuse this for this character, and it would be interesting to see it again. A bit like May's wall. If you played Overwatch, I know people are going to make those comparisons. And then I'm guessing this is the ultimate. It's called Guy Bolg, and basically you prepare a devastating spear throw and gain increased jump height, and when thrown the spear will pass through shields and stun any enemies within 25 units of impact for 2 seconds. So 2 second stun is pretty big. This is just like some massive spear that you're throwing, and it goes through shields as well, so a Fernando or a Makoa are going to get stunned by this. Just generally, I like the sound of this champion. It says barrier tank, but with the deployables, are they going to be a tank? But I guess with the slowing, it makes sense that you're going to be slowing people onto the point, catching people out that way. Either way, this character again is quite unique. It sounds a bit like Earthshaker in... Not Earthshaker, Earth Spirit in Dota 2. They have these sort of like obelisk things. They can slow, they can pulse and do damage, but they can throw these obelisk things. Well, they have like big stone. I think they are called obelisks actually, and then you can throw them around. Either way, this character also sounds cool. And going off of these two characters, the assassin character and also this character, which is sort of like a barrier creator mage sort of thing, it's going towards the fantasy side, and they can be really wacky with it, and I really love how wacky they can get with these sort of ideas. Definitely looking forward to seeing the light of day of these two, maybe some sort of like hints of it. Maybe the devs will sort of hint at it now that the sort of leaks have come out. Well, they're not really leaks, they're just in the data files, but that sounds like a very interesting champion indeed. Finally, and this is another big one, a massive one, there's going to be a PvE mode, or at least it's in the works, and we know that the devs want to push it out, and as I've said it sounds like it will be sort of like variations of characters with special abilities or cooldowns changed, and let's go through it. So actually at the moment, there's 4 PvE modes. Whether it's actually going to, any of these are going to come to fruition, who knows, but there's PvE Survival, PvE Ritual, PvE Quad Laser, and PvE Pala Duty. I don't know whether they can get away with that one, trademarks, but hey, who knows what those game types are going to be. I'm guessing Survival is just literally surviving against waves. Ritual, who knows. Quad Laser, I think that might be to do with maybe Ruckus with the Star Slayer skin, who knows. And Pala Duty, that Pala Duty could be victors, loads of victors maybe. But let's go down, because this could give us hints at what's coming, because there's some bits about PvE that they're not really, there's no sort of like logical list to them, but there's an illusion, a chicken, create a fire-breathing chicken. So a giant fire-breathing chicken may be one of the bosses in this PvE mode, and I for one welcome our fiery chicken overlord, and it could be extremely fun to try and take them down. There's several modes: Turret Maniac and Turret Idolizer. I'm guessing that there might be a barrack that basically just spams turrets, like a bot that just spams them around, and you have to deal with so many turrets being put down. There's a little PvE Buck, Frogmad and Cricket, who knows what those mean, but there is something with the abilities. Super Net Shot, fire a big net that slows a single target by 50% for 2 seconds and deals 300 bonus damage. And Buck deals 30% to netted targets, so maybe they're just buffing like a Super Buck. And there's another one, Buck Wild No Cost. Go Buck Wild, instantly resetting all of your cooldowns, refilling your ammo, and causing your weapon to deal double damage for 6 seconds. Heroic Leap, Buck leaps, incredible height and distance, landing on the targets to deal 300 damage. I don't know whether you're going to be this Super Buck, or if you're going to go against this Super Buck. It could be like you're taking on like a Buck boss. There are other bits like Pve Fernando Best Knight, doesn't really give us anything. Pve Grok, there's one little title called great. Inkig Noct, Moonman, Swimmer, who knows what they are. Ghost Walk Can Fire, basically become targetable and gain 20% movement speed for 1,200 seconds. Removes all debuffs on use. Well, that sounds ridiculous. I don't even know what that means. Maybe there's sort of like a Pve mode where you're just going around invulnerable. Who knows? Another one, Lightning Staff. Mark Self, a staff that creates a channel beam of lightning, dealing 85 damage per hit every 1.1 seconds. The Lightning Staff can be manually reloaded instead of charges when not firing. I don't know whether this is going to be a new mode where you're just basically able to go invincible forever and then use a super staff, or whether you're going against this dude with a super staff. Another one called Grover Hug Me. Who knows what that could be? And then the Makoa ones are quite interesting actually. Macernado, Mikhail, and Makoa-Langelo. Basically, these are names of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but put with Makoa. It's pretty funny. But there's the first one's Fast and Long Hug Makoa, second one's Fast and Powerful Spin Makoa, and the third's Powerful and Long Shield Makoa. It'd be interesting if you could go against these bots with something that has a ridiculously long hook, like one of the AI that can pull you across the map. And then the other ones basically going against like 5 Makoas that are just spinning around all the time and they don't have any cooldowns on their spin would be rather interesting. And the same with shields. Try to take out the Makoas shielding other enemy allies, sort of like AI, and they could be like a permanent shield. There's another mode called Pve Master Pipta. Who knows what that could be? Maybe you could make so many chickens and all the chickens can attack you. That would be great. Then there's the other ones. There's nothing there. Like there's Pve Victor, Grenade 1, Grenade 2, Grenade 3. Doesn't really give us any hints at what the game type's going to be. And then finally Tyra's Grenade 1 as well. So who knows what they're going to be, but either way, PvE is definitely going to be fun, and it's going to draw people in that weren't originally interested in Paladins, because a lot of people do like playing PvE, so player versus environment, which is basically just playing against bots and playing co-op, because not everybody likes the PvP aspect of the shooter genre, and I for one extremely welcome this, and I think it will be fun for everyone just to play and try out, but might be the mainstay of some players that aren't already playing the game. Anyway, what does everyone else think about all these new champions coming and the new game modes that sort of are being hinted at the moment? How will the PvE mode work out, and how would you like to see a PvE mode implemented into the game? Be sure to let me know in the comments section below. Hopefully we'll have Torvald very soon and previewed for OB42, maybe next week sometime, and that would definitely be fun to cover. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you thought it was rubbish, give it a dislike. Subscribe for more of my content, and I'll see you all next time. Joshino.